seems like he's pretty good on the other side of the ball.
No,
what jumps out?
I mean, they're a complete team. I haven't watched their offense, but defensively, if you just look at the statistics, which tell some of the story, not all of the story sometimes, but #1 defense in the ACC, really good on third down, really good on red zone, #1 pass defense. I think they're giving up like 230 something yards a game, which is crazy, you know. And so up front, they're really active, really good. The two linebackers have played a lot of snaps. They change up the coverage well. They do a lot of things in the back end. They really know what's going on within the system from what it seems. They have some transfers that have came in and gave them some boost, especially up front. 50 can get after it. He's got a high motor. Defensive line wise, I mean, they get you in some third down situations and they can cause some havoc. Their third down package is good. We got to be prepared for it. There's a well-coached team. I think he's done a good job his whole career, to be honest, everywhere he's been. And so it's been a one-possession game 2 years in a row, and we know that they're going to come in fired up. We're going to be fired up, and it'll be a heck of a game.
We talk a lot about matchups, and you know, some teams just match up better with others. It just seems like this is like a strength versus strength game. You're big on that side of the ball. You're big on the other side of the ball. You're fast. They're fast. It looks like a mirror, kind of, in some ways.
No, I think you're right. I mean, you look at, I think we're a pretty complete team, and I think they're a pretty complete team. You know, it's just, sometimes it comes down to who plays complementary football the best. And I think if you ask those guys, they'd probably tell you the same. You know, if we take care of the football and we play our best, we probably have a chance to win the game. And so ultimately we feel very similar. I think that, you know, we have to do a good job of taking care of the football, which we have for the most of the year, and do a great job in the red zone of getting touchdowns. You know, touchdowns over field goals are huge.
Shannon, maybe what's the word? Anyway, it seems like you're using a lot of, I can't think of the right word, but just confirmation bias is what I'm looking for.
Right.
It seems like you're using a lot of like condensed sets, bunch formations this year. Just what advantage comes with that? Like obviously, there's a lot of talk over the last, I don't know, 5-10 years about spreading the field as wide as possible.
Yeah.
So going back the opposite direction, like what advantages does that have?
I think there's advantages of both. And I think mixing it up well is really good. Getting in different formations, getting in different personnel groupings. I mean, we've used some 2-back sets with tight ends and receivers, and we've used some 11 personnel, 12, 12H, and so trying to mix up as much personnel groupings as we can to get our best playmakers on the field, and also trying to mix up the sets all across the board. But I do think, you know, when you're trying to block safeties, you know, you get closer to them. And so those receivers, if we're going to go in there and commit to blocking safeties at times, which we will, those sets tend to get those guys closer to block them. And you can do some really cool play action stuff out of that. You know, it limits what the defense can do coverage wise. You know, if you look at those sets when they get condensed, typically they have a couple things they go to that they like. And so you can kind of forecast what they're going to do in those sets to get the extra hat in a certain place. But I do love open sets too. You know, I like both.
And then, I mean, obviously, like you said, you know, you have a lot of diversity in your play calling in different formations. So now that you've been here for 3 years, Mario's been here for 4 years, you've been able to recruit the guys who you want. How much does that help you be able to line up, you know, not be limited by your personnel, to be able to line up kind of in all these different ways?
I think it's vital. And I think that you go into games and the flow of the game dictates a lot. I know I talk a lot about that and people probably get tired of that, but it's true. I don't really go into games thinking that, okay, we're going to run it this many times and throw it this many times. A lot of it is dictated about how the defense is playing us, how well we're doing something, and just the overall flow of the game. And so there's a lot of different, I guess, pathways when the game starts that the game call can go. And I think that's the beauty of football, in my opinion, is the artist work of how the game lays out. And so I appreciate that, and I think that's an artwork type deal.
I asked Mario this too. The last year, top offense in the country, and a lot of people were involved in that.
Yeah.
This year, numbers are great again. A lot of people involved in that. How hard is? I don't want to say how hard. Does any part of it surprise you in the sense that you have kids that are buying in when they're playing for money, and when, to a certain level at least, what they make is based on stats, and not every kid's getting the stats he wants all the time, and yet you guys don't seem to mind that. How do you get 20-year-olds to have that thinking?
I think they're getting coached by quality people. You know, I think, you know, our assistant coaches do a heck of a job handling their rooms, which when you stack talent in rooms, you have to manage that talent. You can't just bring it in and let it be, right? And so the overall messaging of those guys, from Coach Cristobal to myself with the unit and to their position coaches, is of a servant mentality, a selfless mentality, of more so win matters more than stats. Now, that's easy to say, but ultimately you have to have your best players buy into it, and then the flow of the narrative gets stronger. And I do think that we've gotten very fortunate that in recruiting, Coach does a really good job of finding not only the most talented guys for what we do, but the guys that have the right character for what we want. And that's probably as important as the athletic part of it, you know, is just the mental part of it. And, you know, we've brought high school guys in and transfer guys in that have assimilated into the culture. And when they walk through the doors, they do understand that they are going to have to sacrifice some of their self for the overall team. And that is laid out pretty clearly in tries guys too. We are very honest with them. I mean, we tell them, look, man, I mean, we have a very talented room. This is an opportunity to be a part of something great. You know, about how much of a part of it is really up to you. Like, we'll give you this opportunity. All we can give you is shoulder pads and a helmet and an opportunity. And what you do with that is really what you do with it. And so, but I do think the overall leadership of the rooms is a vital factor in what you're talking about.
How good was it to get Jordan Lyle back in the FSU game? What did you see from him in the limited amount of snaps he was able to get in there?
I know what he's capable of, and I know he's capable of more than what he did that game, and I'm looking forward to it. He's a very motivated and brings to the game, and I'm excited about him being healthy and ready to roll.
Just getting him back healthy and having that, you know, rotation that you like at running back with 7 straight games left in the regular, close up the regular season, is how important is it to, you know, keep guys healthy and everything.
At that position, I talk about it all the time, but at that position specifically, you need a handful of guys. That position takes a lot of abuse. Their job description is detailed and rough. And so sharing that is important to me. And I don't think that having one guy carry it 30 times is smart. I think spreading those carries out, and Matt does a great job throughout the course of the game. He manages those reps, and he can feel who's hot and who's really feeling it. And he does a great job of gravitating to that guy when we need it. And he just has a knack for that, and, you know, just let him roll with it, really.
Just along those lines, how's JoJo practicing these days? Is he getting, you know, better integrated? Or
He is. He's had a very good week last week. We've had some very good talks. I love the kid. He's had a very good week of practice, really good day to day. I look forward to him finishing this week and making some plays.
And like you talk about running back, having just that other weapon on the outside, and I know, like, you know, Josh hasn't really played a ton, and you've got other guys too, but now you've got a stretch here where you're going to be playing a lot of games in consecutive fashion. How much would that help you take the offense to the next level?
No, I think those guys are going to continue to play more and more. A lot of it has to do with how the games go. The Florida State game, we didn't run a lot of plays. We only ran about 60 plays or so. And part of that was, you know, we had a lead in the fourth quarter. We didn't play very well. And so ultimately, we do want those guys rolling in. If you look at that game, it was really a story of like 3 quarters to, I mean, we were scoring pretty quickly when we got the ball, like one play, and then we hit it, like, so we weren't just manufacturing 13-play drives or 11-play drives. A lot of times we do that. Like, that's kind of how our offense has been. We kind of grind out drives, and because the nature of which defenses play us, they're trying to keep the top of the coverage. So we've been grinding out drives, so when you play more plays, there's more opportunity to play. In that particular game, it just so happened that we were getting some chunk plays and drives were happening pretty quickly. And so we didn't have a lot of plays in that game. Now, part of it is the fourth quarter, we didn't play very well. We got to play better in the fourth quarter. We got to finish better. And that's on coaches and players, everybody together. But as the season goes, those guys have shown the ability to make plays in games. If you look back through the Notre Dame and whatever games, I mean, they have all made plays. And so they're going to continue getting those opportunities to make more and more plays. I want them in the game more.
How is it possible? Go ahead, sorry.
How important was it just in that Florida State game? They approached things differently than, like you were saying, than other defenses with wanting you to test them downfield. How important was it for you or the team to show that you can play that way as well, multiple ways of offense?
I do think that having, the ability to do both is very important. I think that's how we are uniquely built to be able to do both. And so if you look at some of the key situations this year, I mean, the Florida game, we needed a drive and we ran it about 10 plays in a row with a couple passes sprinkled in, third downs or whatever. The couple passes were huge in those drives, but we grinded it out, right? And so ultimately, the flow of the game and how people are going to play us, you figure that out through the very first parts of the game. And if they're going to sit there, and a lot of it does have to do with just numbers. Sometimes we're going to run it no matter what, but not all the time. And so we're not going to beat our head against a wall either. And so if they're committed to doing something numbers-wise that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, then we're going to try to take advantage of it in other ways. And we have the ability to do that. Not everybody has the ability to be productive in both, in my opinion. So I do take pride in the fact that our offense can cut you a couple different ways.
Did you know when you got him? That Carson? I mean, he's obviously very, very good. Did you know he was this accurate when you got him? I mean, he hasn't missed on many.
No, he's a very accurate thrower of the football. I mean, watching his film, it did stick out that he had some high-end accuracy. He's very accurate down the field. And I think you can see when we do throw it vertical, a lot of times it's right on the money. And so even the one that we threw to Malachi early in the game, like the number 3 did a great job catching back up, but that was a really accurately thrown ball. And even the flea flicker, I mean, it wasn't open by much. I mean, that had to be a fairly accurate throw on that because they did retrace pretty quickly. And so he is an accurate thrower down the field. And so he can make all the throws, obviously. And our O-line does a great job of keeping the pocket clean, which is very important. Nobody's accurate if the pocket isn't clean. Keep saying that, but that's true. But he did show that on his film. I mean, I did see a guy that was very accurate in the pocket, very accurate on intermediate routes, and threw a very good deep ball. That's a couple things that obviously stuck out from just recruiting him.
As you brought about the flea flicker call, was that something you saw kind of in the moment, or was that something in your pocket that you thought would work that night?
I thought it would work that night. I mean, the way that they were going to play defense, I had a feeling that they were going to be pretty aggressive in the back end. So it was just something I thought that at some point throughout the game, if the situation presented itself, we would have an opportunity to hit it.
The quick game, I know it was a numbers thing, right? The quick game against Florida State, spitting it out. Was that one of the better executed quick games since you've been here?
Probably this year specifically, yeah. And maybe since I've been here. I mean, there was a lot of spitting the ball out and getting 6 to 7 to 8 yards. And a lot of times, we didn't necessarily have perfect leverage, but the throw and the timing was so sharp that it ended up getting positive yards. And I think and the blocking on the perimeter has been really good all year. And I do think that that's a element of our offense that I put that really into running yards. You know, I mean, it's basically an extended handoff. If they're going to sit there and stack the box, then you can just spit it out there and get 5 or 6 yards, or heck, you know, you might get more, right? And so it's just basically what you were saying earlier is it's a way to make us play the whole field.
Awesome, wanted there. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.